welcome to Ask Meg. This is a place where you guys can ask me questions and I give you answers. And this is the last time all of the questions will be from the subreddit. So normally I take questions from the subreddit, reddit.com/r/Meg Turney, and I'll still be taking questions from there. But starting with the next Ask Meg, the first few questions will be patron questions first, and then everybody else right after that. If patrons don't have any questions, it'll all be from the subreddit. But one of the perks of my top tier, for now, my top tier on Patreon is getting your Ask Meg questions in the first little bit. I'll definitely make sure there's never an Ask Meg that's only patron questions because I want to make sure everybody has a chance to participate. The really important thing about my Patreon, which I haven't even mentioned on this channel, I have a Patreon. It's new. The thing that's really, really important that I try to really stress in my Patreon page and everywhere else I've talked about it is not required for you to back me on Patreon or support me on Patreon for you to keep getting content from me. The Patreon is a place for super fans to get exclusive content. There's an exclusive print this month that only patrons will have access to. I'm going to be doing photo shoots and Snapchats and all sorts of different things that are just kind of extras for people who are big fans who want more exclusive content. So if you're strapped for cash, if you're a college student or whatever, it's totally cool. I completely understand. You're still going to get content on my Facebook page and my Twitter and my Instagram and here on my YouTube channel, on my Twitch, all sorts of free content going on. But I do like the idea of having a chance for people who are, big fans who feel like they haven't gotten their question answered to get their questions answered at the beginning of Ask Meg. Hopefully all that made sense. I'm trying to strike a balance, so hopefully you maybe sort of understand. The other thing I want to mention really quick before we get into the questions is I do have a Twitch stream as well now, so I've been doing streaming on Twitch. It's been really, really fun. Been sort of messing around with a whole bunch of different stuff, trying a bunch of different stuff out. So it's been going really well. I've been streaming at least 3 times a week. So I'm going to start doing sub Sundays. I'm not sure it'll be every Sunday. It might be every other Sunday. We'll see. I mean, I kind of feel out what my subs are really into. I know a lot of people do sub Sundays, so maybe we'll make the sub day a different day. Still just kind of figuring all of it out. But if you haven't yet and you're interested, go ahead and subscribe to the Twitch because then you're going to get an extra stream. There's also going to be like sub-only emotes and stuff like that coming. I'm still like completely new to the world of Twitch, so I'm kind of just learning as I go. Alright, let's answer some questions. RTL Stuff asks, just throwing this out there, Meg/Ryan Podcast, I just need to get my fix from somewhere. I feel ya. I need my fix too. I haven't seen Ryan in so long. I miss him. I seriously haven't seen him since we filmed the last episode of Free Play. I miss seeing him in the office. We have so much fun together, but we have been streaming together. So speaking of my Twitch that I was talking about earlier, Ryan and I have been streaming together. We're going to try and think of something that's a little more formal, like maybe one night a week that we always stream together, or one night a week that's part of our streams are together and then the rest of it is separate. So we don't really know yet. He's on vacation right now, so I have to wait for him to come back, and then we'll figure it out all then. But yeah, we really, really love streaming together and hanging out and being friends, and so sadly we don't have the easy access to see each other at the office anymore, but streaming has been really fun. I kicked his ass in Move or Die while I was drunk, so that is the key to winning, everyone, and you heard it here first. And yeah, we'll be doing some more stuff soon, so stay tuned to that. Oh, also his Twitch is Sorta Malicious Gaming, if you're interested, so check out his Twitch channel as well. Which reminds me that I didn't mention earlier, you can check out links for my Patreon, my Twitch, and Ryan's Twitch, all in the description down below, as well as my new P.O. Box, that's all in there, too. Kagan, my spouse, asks, how soon in a relationship do you think it's appropriate to mention that you have mental health issues? In my case, depression and anxiety. I feel like if I tell people too soon, they will want to end the relationship without really getting to know me. Thanks. Honestly, like, I feel like I've said this answer for a lot of different relationship questions, but it really goes along with a lot of issues, and that's whenever you're comfortable. I don't feel like there's any sort of deadlines that exist in a relationship. You have to be married after this long, you have to have had sex after this long, or whatever, like, you have to text somebody back within this certain time frame. There's just so many different ways people put stress on a relationship that doesn't need it, that I think that it's just, honestly, if you feel comfortable sharing with somebody that you have these mental health issues, then please, by all means, share it with them. If somebody leaves you because they're not ready to deal with that, then I think, honestly, like, that's, in the long run, best for you, right? Like, you want to be with somebody who can see past what you think is an obstacle, or what you might see as an obstacle, or you see past the fact that, mental health issues don't define who we are. I'm somebody who suffers from anxiety. I have medicine for it. It doesn't make me who I am. And it's not something I think of as an obstacle to loving me. Maybe that's just because I think I'm a pretty great person to love. But to be completely honest, I've never treated it that way. And every time I've been in a relationship with somebody who treated it that way, in the long run, I realized that person was a piece of shit. Fuck that person. And I'm glad that I don't have to deal with their bullshit anymore. It's kind of how I feel about it, to be perfectly honest. Anybody who makes me feel shit for having anxiety or dealing with depression or any of those things, fuck that person. On the flip side, not everyone is ready to deal with that issue. Not everybody understands anxiety. Not everybody understands depression. And, maybe they're not a shitty person. Maybe they're just not equipped to deal with that thing. Maybe they feel overwhelmed or whatever. Maybe they're not a shitty person. Maybe my joke about how much I fucking hate some people would just be a little better if we toned it down a little bit. I understand that. Definitely accept and respect other people's wishes completely. However, one of the things I think is most important that I talk about actually a lot in LGBTQ plus issues is letting people be good people. So I think a lot of times, and this is especially for me with LGBT issues, I think a lot of people feel like they make other people's minds up for them. My parents are going to freak out when I tell them I'm bisexual. My friends are not going to like me anymore when I tell them I'm gay. A lot of people do that, and it comes from, I think, a place, obviously, of self-preservation. It comes from a logical place and a very emotional place that we build for ourselves, but you have to give people the chance to react positively. Give them the chance to be good people. To tell someone the information, and don't be ready to, I told you something, I suffer from anxiety, and if someone doesn't say the exact right thing, you're ready to freak out. Give them the chance to process that information and to accept you for who you are and love you for who you are, because I think a lot of people really, at the end of the day, whether it be a partner in a relationship with somebody who has anxiety or depression, or a parent who has an LGBT child, I think at the end of the day, everybody really wants to love and be loved. And so allow people that opportunity to love you and allow yourself to be loved. Having said that, sometimes people will be dicks, and that's just life, and that sucks. But again, whenever you feel comfortable, break out the Ativan and say, this is what I take sometimes and I just can't fucking deal. Shiny Silvery asks, hi Meg, would you consider doing cosplay of Tracer from Overwatch? I think you would be great as Blizzard's British babe, and that would be a middle finger from gamers to those killjoys that criticized her appearance. Also, besides Let's Plays, will you be doing any games commentary / coverage as a self-presenter and or guest on podcasts? So, two-part question there, the first part being Tracer from Overwatch. I would love to cosplay her. I am going to be cosplaying her, but I'm just going to get out there now, totally doing Tracer underwear, sexy Tracer cosplay underwear thing, because I think it's extra cheeky, because it's oh, you didn't like when she did the butt pose, you're not going to like what I'm going to do, and because that my inner contrarian thinks that's really funny, but also just because I have a pretty full slate right now. I'm working on Sylvanas and that whole armor build, and I'm hoping to have it done before Legion, and I thought that I would have all of August, and I actually just got blocked out. So, yeah, I have a lot going on, which is what else is fucking new. And, yeah, so I will not have time to make an entire Tracer cosplay. Underwear is a lot easier. I'm totally admitting right now it's full-on cop-out to just be doing that and not the real cosplay. But I don't care. It's a fun cop-out, and it looks really cool, and yay, and I get to be cavalry's there, and cheers, love. So, yeah, I'll be doing that very, very soon. I've actually been kind of blocking out what I want that to look like, which is really fun. The really fun thing about underwear cosplay is you get to kind of pick what you think everything should look like. So, anyway, that I'll definitely be doing. Very, very cool. I'm excited to do that. Second part of the question was, would I be a guest on podcasts, or would I do any games news coverage, or any games coverage whatsoever? Absolutely. I still love video games. Talking about video games is still something I absolutely love to do and want to do. I'll hopefully be doing that around the interwebs. Of course, like I said in my exit video from RT, if they invite me back to do news, I'm happy to go back and do news. I know there's some other companies that want to have me in for Twitch streams and different stuff like that. So I'm happy to do that. I don't think I'll ever be doing like hard news on this channel. It's just not really what this channel is, or any like investigative video games journalism on this channel. This is not really what I do here. I still love to do it on other channels, but yeah, probably not news coverage here, unless it's a story where I can just kind of talk about how I feel about it or what I think about it, sort of like an editorialized version of that. I'm happy with that on this channel, but yeah, no hard news coverage. But I'm always down to be on podcasts. Mikey D01 says, how long does it take to edit and Ask Meg, and what software do you use? Ask Megs don't take very long. I basically just have to like chop up the footage. They take a little bit longer if I do something crazy like slow footage down or repeat things a bunch of times. Repeat things a bunch of times. If I put Gambit in there or whatever, they take a little bit longer. Only a couple hours really to edit, if that. And I use Premiere. I used to use Final Cut in college, and that's where I learned to edit, but Rooster Teeth uses Premiere, and so that's where I continued my education in editing. Mewum619 says, hi Meg, how did you came with the phrase, you get nothing? I'm dying to know, not literally. Are you? Well, thank you. First of all, I did not come up with the phrase, you get nothing. That is from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I wish I'd come up with it, but all credit goes to Gene Wilder for making that line, like one of my favorite lines ever. Anonymous Froggies asks, how do you find the motivation to exercise? I want to lose weight so bad, but getting started is so difficult for me. First and foremost, getting started is difficult for everyone. I've actually really been thinking lately about doing a vlog about how I got started in running, because I think a lot of people have this notion that I was a lifelong runner, or that running is easy for me, or that running long distances comes with ease, or any of those things. And just none of them are true. I was not a lifelong runner. I was not a runner at all, pretty much until I was like, what am I, 29 now? So like 27? Like 2 years ago. When they were filming Laser Team, that's when I became a runner. It was like, started running on the treadmill. The first day they started filming Laser Team was my first time like really running on the treadmill. So, yeah, I'm not at all a runner. I've had 3 knee surgeries. My body is just like done with running, and then of course with my head injury it was like, hey, maybe not running, but I still do it. So yeah, really where the motivation comes from for me, honestly, it started with, I just watched K-pop videos on the treadmill on an iPad, and I would walk for like 20 minutes, and then I would run for the last, like I'd walk for 25 minutes, and then I would run for the last 5 minutes, and then I sort of like tried to switch it over. So then I'd walk for 20 minutes and run for 10 minutes, and then I slowly tried to like get it where I was only walking, 5 minutes, and then I was running the rest of my 30 minutes on the treadmill. And then I started doing Zombies Run after getting into running while watching K-pop videos, and that really motivated me a lot, because I have like this, there's a base building aspect to Zombies Run that I think a lot of people don't know about. Where you earn supplies when you run, and then you get to like build your own personal base when you're done. And it's the silliest, like simplest feature, and I'm sure it's not the simplest feature to implement, but it's like a simple feature to have in the app. And it motivated me so much, because I would be like, oh, I don't want to run today, but I really need a new comms tower. And it would totally get me on the treadmill. So just find something that gives you like that kind of motivation to get over the hump. Also, a good way to get motivated is just put on the clothes. A lot of times when I don't want to run, I just put on my running gear. Like that's the hardest step. And then once I've got it on, I'm like, well, I just give myself like kind of a bunch of outs. Like I'll put on the clothes and I'll be like, okay, well I just have to put on the clothes. And I put on the clothes and I'm like, well, I'm already in the clothes. Maybe I'll just go for a walk. And then I like get outside and I'm like, well, I don't want to walk my whole Zombies Run thing. So I'm just going to take an easy run. And before I know it, like I've run the whole mission and I feel great. You know what I mean? Like you just give yourself like that, I just have to do this one little step, and then you really start to fall in love with running, which is what happened for me. So I think just finding something that keeps you motivated. Zombies 5K is another app from the same company that I really loved, because it gave you which days you should be running, how you should be running. You don't have to worry about how long. It tells you to start walking. You're like, oh, this is so good. So I really like stuff like that. I think that's definitely the way to get motivated. And finally, Greed asks, is it okay to think about you when I masturbate? So you might notice this question is in red. That's because it was flagged on my subreddit by one of my mods, and I think rightfully so, to be fair to the mod. Yeah, it's not really a question that I would normally answer, but I'm answering it on This Ask Meg for one reason, and one reason only. It's because I get asked it a fucking lot. Like, people ask me that a lot. And here's the answer. Whatever you think about when you do your thing, when you literally do you, that is your thing. That is the thing you think about, and that's for you. I don't need to know. I don't need to know shit about what you think about when you do your dingle hopper there. I just don't need to know. You think about whatever you want to think about. I don't need to know. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. There's no scenario in which someone tells me that and I'm like, really? You? I'm like, information I didn't need. I'm not telling you what I'm thinking about when I do the dingle hopper, so you don't need to tell me what you dingle hopper think about. Alright, I said dingle hopper enough. That's it for this Ask Meg. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to check out the Patreon, which is in the description down below, and the Twitch, and Ryan's Twitch, and also the new P.O. Box. So hopefully someday I'll do mail videos. That was actually a question that I did not answer in this Ask Meg, was, will you do mail videos now that you have a new P.O. Box? I would love to. I just haven't really gotten enough at the P.O. Box to do one yet, but eventually. I mean, I love, like, seeing, like, Justice, where she has, like, all these different outfits and, like, glitter and stickers and stuff, and I just think it looked really cool, so maybe I'll wait until I have some of that stuff, and I'll, like, give my mom my P.O. Box so she can get it started. That is so much truer than you think. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Heart you!